407 years ago, our forefathers discovered Ohio. And what we've done is we found some really good deer hunting in Ohio.
Hello gang, Season 3, Trophy Room Adventures. Ed Russell, Scott Martin here. Man, it's been a journey. Season 1, Season 2, we've had a good time. We went to a lot of amazing different places, got to see a lot of amazing different things. We've kind of transitioned this year though from going out of town a whole lot. Our home state, North Carolina, we started taking deer footage in Season 1. What we found out a lot of times was everybody wanted to send in footage, but nobody had anywhere to hunt. So good Lord blessed us with some pretty good leases in Ohio and different places. So what we did was we started bringing some of our viewers along on those hunts. Try to get them engaged in the process and let them get on a great big deer. We've got some of the biggest free range deer up there in Ohio that you can find anywhere in the country. Been to Missouri, been a lot of places out west, and I mean, you're talking about a 160, 170 inch class deer opportunity. Free range, that's unheard of really. But the properties that we've got the feed, we've got the cover, we've got the water, we've got everything they need to hold them and produce them year after year. We've really worked hard at it.
And you know, Ed, we had these properties leased already before we started the show, and we quickly realized that we had way more deer, big deer on film and on trail cameras than we could hunt. I mean, you can kill one, I can kill one, that's the limit in Ohio, so why not kind of share the bounty, if you will, and let some of you guys get in on this opportunity.
For me and Scott, it's not about killing great big deer. Scott's killed some really nice deer, I've killed some really nice deer, so it's not about us going up there every year, year in and year out, and just filming each other hunting and getting him killing a big deer and me killing a big deer. What we wanted to do was engage people that didn't have that opportunity. Maybe that was something that to them was kind of like an unreachable goal. But what we've done is we've, you know, with the processes that we've got up there and how we're working the land and the properties that we've got, it just allows us to be able to take more people.
Well, gang, you know, not only are we doing the Ohio outfitting deal, we still got partners all over the world. If a big whitetail is not what you're really looking for, if you want to go to Africa and shoot a kudu, Cape buffalo, whatever you want, or if you want an elk in New Mexico, you know, just whatever hunt you're looking for, we've got partners situated around, and we can still hook you up on those. But Ohio is where we're focusing most of our energy at. Like I said, we want to just be able to share the opportunity for you guys to get on one of these big whitetails. I think that's what people would really like to see more than me or Ed one out here shooting one every week. So
yeah, one of the biggest reasons we started using that property in Ohio is the focus of Trophy Room Adventures is a trophy to me may be something different to Scott. Scott's trophy may be something different. But, you know, what we had found with a lot of people was they said, hey, you know, we'd really like the opportunity to get on a 130-inch deer somewhere, but we just don't know where to do that at. And what we've done is we've took what we already had along with the show and kind of encompassing both of them together to try to make a plan to help our viewers get involved and come on the show. Gives you an opportunity to come on the show, get filmed if you want it. We can air it on the show. Share that with your friends and family. If you don't want it aired on the show, we can make DVDs out of it or whatever you want to do. Some people are a little camera shy. It's not all about the film. It's not all about the camera. It's not all about getting everything that we need on film. It's about taking somebody who's never had the opportunity and putting them in front of a 130, 140 inch whitetail when maybe they hunt in locations like here in North Carolina, that if you see a 115-inch deer, 110-inch deer, that's a big 8 or 9 or 10 point here in North Carolina. But especially the part of the country, part of the state that we hunt in the western part. Not as much crops here in the western part of North Carolina where we live, so that's originally why we started looking for places outside of North Carolina to hunt, just because we knew that those places were close. They were 4 or 5 hours away from here, and they had the potential to hold a lot bigger deer than what we have here. Gives us another avenue to be able to hunt here in North Carolina, because we're not going to stop hunting in here in North Carolina, because I enjoy that about as much as anything.
Yeah, there's no place like home. So.
Yeah. It just gives us a chance to be able to go other places and use more deer tags.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And you know, guys, we also we're going to do some things this year that we didn't do this past season. We're going to actually offer some youth hunts here on youth rifle season up here in Ohio. We didn't really offer that to the public this year. I did take my son, and he was lucky enough to get a nice deer. But we are going to do that this year, and there's nothing that I enjoy better. I know Ed's the same way, as getting these kids involved out here in the outdoors. It's just that's got a special place in my heart, and we want to continue doing that all we can.
Yeah, it's not just kids. It's people that maybe just don't have the opportunity, don't have the place, don't have the means or the access to be able to go places. This affords them the opportunity to do that, and affords us the great opportunity to be able to witness it. So that's the direction we're headed this year.
Guys, what we want to do this first show here, we wanted to take you guys through the operation a little bit, show you how we work. We want to look at some of these trail camera pictures of the deer that we did have on the property this past year, and still have. And we want to talk about each deer a little bit, and maybe give you the story on them, and just show you guys what we got. And guys, we literally I've got thousands and thousands of trail camera pictures on my computer that I've saved. And Ed's right, I was there a lot, and you almost know what deer you're going to see on what camera before you ever go and check the camera. And then if he don't show up, you're like, hold on, what's going on? So it's actually amazing how much you can learn with these trail cameras. We put a lot of faith in trail cameras, but you can't put all your faith in these trail cameras. These trail cameras show you what's right in front of you. They show you what's right there in front of you. They don't show you what's to the left. They don't show you what's to the right or behind you, or maybe even just a little out of range behind the camera. I mean, trail camera is an awesome, awesome tool to help get on these big bucks. But just because you're not getting his picture every day, that don't mean he ain't there.
Well, I mean, how many bucks did you just, that you just caught one time during the rut? I mean, just one passing through,
Yep.
And chances are, when one of our deer was gone for 4 or 5 days, he was passing in front of somebody's else's trail camera.
That's right.
But, that's the way it goes. That's part of free range hunting, and that's what we're doing this year.
We've had a lot of, I'm not calling anybody out, and I'm not doing anything like that, but had some hunters this year that were adamant about looking at these trail cam pictures, and they didn't want to hunt a spot if they wasn't a big buck had been there the last day or two. And it's just like I just said, those hunters, there's nothing wrong with that, and they're trying to increase their odds. But you got to remember that just because he's not right in front of that camera, don't mean he's not standing 10 yards over here.
Well, 2 of the biggest deer that were killed up there this year for us were killed in a place where a trail camera wouldn't have caught them.
Yeah.
The place where they were shot was a place where the trail camera wouldn't have caught them.
That's right. That's exactly right. And one of those 2 deer, he was in a place that we'd never had a trail camera picture of him before. He was in a completely different area. So, it's like I said, they're an awesome tool, but you gotta think that they're not always right in front of that camera. They could be just off camera anywhere.
our first season, you know, what me and Scott had talked about was that we wanted to show average everyday viewers, people who didn't get a chance to see 130-inch deer on a regular basis. And at the time, I'd even made a joke about naming the deer and kind of poked fun at a little bit at the people that named deer over the course of time. Ed Russell here with Scott Martin from Trophy Room Adventures. We've got a new show this year, a new concept basically. A lot of your outdoor television that we've been watching for the last several years has got one guy on there. He's been watching the same buck for 7 years. He's named it Split Toe or whatever else he can think to name it. But you know, when you're doing this as much as we're doing this now, it's a little different, you know, because you get intimate with these deer. You see them so often and you kind of are watching their patterns, and then when they disappear for 2 days, you're like, oh no, where did they go? What happened to them? You know, they're showing up every day at 8:45, you know, and now they're, you know, what happened to them, you know? But then 6 days later, when he magically shows up on camera, you're like, oh, there's Swoopy, you know.
Right.
So
he's back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's exciting because it's the hunt, but it's not just the being in the stand hunt, it's the whole process.
Right. Well, guys, we've been lucky. We have came across and got some very good land up here in Ohio. I spent a lot of time up there this fall. If you don't believe me, ask my wife; she'll tell you. But anyhow, this land is it's perfect for what we're doing. A lot of cropland. All of our land comes from the farmers. It's all farmland, but the way it rolls, ups and downs, it's got enough hills and valleys in it that there's a lot of little fingers that come into these fields, and it's just a perfect place for these whitetails. Not only is it the perfect place for the whitetails, it's the perfect place to hunt these whitetails. They're going to be in those fingers. That's where they're going to be, and it's makes it. I ain't gonna say it's easy. Don't get me wrong, but it makes it a lot easier to get on one of these big whitetails.
Yeah, the word predictable and whitetail don't belong in the same sentence. They do exactly what they want to do, but you know, for basically if you look at an aerial photo, you say, good gracious, there's no way that this property doesn't hold deer, because it's just perfect. The way that those fingers edge out is almost, we use the word fingers, but literally our properties look like your hand. I mean, you've got a field here, and then they've got edges running through them just like this. I mean, it's just, when you look at it on paper, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to hunt deer in that situation than it is if you had all fields, or if you had 600 acres of all hardwoods. It's tough to get on those deer in those hardwoods. They got a lot of places they can go in 600 acres of hardwoods.
That's right.
But all our stuff, like I said, is farmland. It rotates out. It'll be corn one year, next year it'll be soybeans. And we've got some different farms, and it's never always all corn, it's never always all soybeans. It's always, this farm is this for this year, this is this, then they switch. So you've always got a different crop to hunt, and it's a lot easier to hunt some crops than it is others.
And if turkeys is your thing, man, you need to come up and shoot some of these birds. I mean, one field I had 60-some birds in the same field. It's just a ridiculous amount of birds. So if turkey hunting's your thing and you want to come up for a turkey hunt, we'd sure be glad to hook you up with that.
Oh yeah, and there's even a fall turkey season. You guys come up deer hunting, you can get a turkey tag and we can work out the details on that. But there's a great opportunity that you get a chance at a turkey in the fall too, while you're sitting there waiting on a deer. So we actually had several, probably half of our clients this fall had an opportunity at a turkey if they had wanted to take one.
For me, hunting's all about comfort. What we've got set up there, what me and Scott like to hunt out of, is ladder stands and box blinds for the most part. That's what we've got set up. If a climber is your thing, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there that's all they want to hunt out of. I've got one of my bestest buddies in the whole world. He won't think about hunting out of nothing but a climber. And if a climber's your thing, bring a climber with you. We'll put you in a tree, you know, close to where we think you need to be. Give you a little bit of freedom. You know, if you don't like this poplar, we'll move you to the next one. It's within reason. Me and Scott especially, because Scott spent a whole lot of time up there trying to do early season scouting, trying to make sure we know where the deer are going to be, and he watches those trail cameras like a hawk. So he knows where the deer are going to be. So, you know, we don't want you to come in and say, hey, I want to hunt, you know, 200 yards from where we want to put you, but for the most part, you know, we want you to be comfortable. So if you want to use a climber, bring your climber and do your own thing right there close to where we're at and where we think you need to be, then that'd be great. If you want to lock on, put up a climbing stick. Some people do that. You know, as long as we're using safety harnesses and all that stuff that we need to be safe, because it's all about being able to return home to family. It doesn't matter if you go up there and kill a 130-inch deer. If you break a leg in the process, it ain't gonna be for no good for nobody. So
that's right.
We want you to be safe. We want you to have a good time. Lodging, for us, where we have to put you, and be honest, it's not a 5-star lodge. That's not who we are. That's not where me and Scott live in our normal lives. It's good, clean farmhouse, good, clean bed, warm shower, and really that's all we need. We're not just going to be in Ohio this year. Me and Scott, we've made a lot of friends doing this. We've got the opportunity to go some places this winter and this early spring. Hopefully we get some footage for you to add to the season here. We're pretty excited about a couple of places that we've still got yet to go this year. But we just want you guys to hang along for the ride, and if you guys have footage that you want to send in from a hunt, maybe at home or something, we still take that footage and look at it, and if you want us to do something with it, if it's good enough and we can get it on the show, use it somehow, you know, we might do that for you. You know, just send us an email, get in touch with us, Facebook, drop us a note, send us a letter, telegraph, telephone, whatever.
Whatever works for you.
Don't matter.
Just check us out on the web, www.trophyroom.adventures.com. You can also check us out on Facebook. We're on there really regular. We try to keep in touch with our fans and our customers on Facebook, and we'd love to hear from you guys on there. Post your pictures up to the page. We'll share them all we can, and we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next week.
We made some friends doing this, and we plan to go visit them friends and help them kill their animals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. If y'all got any animals you want help killing, just get in touch with us, send us a note, letter, whatever you want to do. Keep that updated for you, and we look forward to seeing you guys with us.
Did you say a bird
I bet
flip
you
my hat?
Yeah, I bet you it's on video.
That bird just back flip my hat.
Incoming!
Sorry.
Oh, no. I don't know, but we're gonna do bloopers again, so go ahead and make some bloopers.
You know, everybody said the bloopers is the best part.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody said make sure you put some of them in there.
We gotta have them, I think.
Okay. Probably a lot of them. In fact, I'm not real sure if we just shouldn't do the whole show bloopers.
Just the whole blooper show.
Yeah.
Might work out good.
Might work out pretty good. Pretty hilarious, I think.